Indianapolis Raceway Park, IRP. Summertime home for the sound of thunder. But we begin tonight without the flashy video. We won't even cue the band. We focus instead on our special feelings for those brave souls with the will to win. Hello, everyone. I'm Dave Despain. In this racing season already stalked by tragedy, the USAC community, our community, have this week lost a champion. Number 69, Robbie Stanley, 3 times king of the sprint car division, died at the wheel at Winchester Speedway. And so we come sadly to IRP and this 49th annual night before the 500. Over my shoulder, the excitement is about to begin, and a bit further up 16th Street, the huge crowd is already gathering for tomorrow's 78th running of the 500 itself. The arenas await us, but on nights like this, it's tough to move inside. So let's take a moment to prepare ourselves. A quiet moment before the engines roar. A moment of silence shared with the fans and friends of Robbie Stanley, in which we try to put his death into perspective. That's what he would have wanted. How often we hear that phrase at times like this. We come to the next race knowing that's what Robbie would have wanted. He gave his life for the thing he loved most, driving race cars. That's what Robbie would have wanted. Are those just words with which we hope to comfort Ron and Rita, Ryan and Michelle? Words with which we justify our own love of a sport in which men sometimes die? No, I don't think so. I think that somewhere behind those words we find a basic division within the human family. Over there, the vast majority fear death above all else, avoid its risk at all cost, and pray that they will go in their sleep never looking the inevitable in the eye. But over here, the arena is reserved for those special few, for those who climb mountains, fight wars, fly to the moon, drive race cars. Those special few accept that death is the inevitable consequence of living. They refuse to hide from the inevitable. They conquer their fear, live their life to the fullest, and most will roar into old age with wonderful memories of it all. We head into the arena tonight with our own memories of one who will not make it to old age, but we are greatly comforted by the knowledge that Robbie Stanley was among those special few. And now to tell us about the excitement that awaits in the arena, my Saturday Night Thunder colleagues, Gary Lee and Larry Rice.
Thanks, Dave. Larry Rice, the racing arena is not a sport, it's a family, and at a time like this, we all hurt.
That's right, and like most families, sometimes there are squabbles. Robbie Stanley, he was very aggressive, and sometimes he was criticized for that. But he was never criticized for his love for the sport or how hard he tried, and for that, we'll always remember him.
And it's with the heavy heart that we do continue on this evening to a major event on the USAC season. This is a doubleheader, the 49th annual night before the 500 with the midgets and also the rear-engine Formula 2000 cars. Let's take a look now at the format for this evening's racing. We have concluded qualifying, and the top 10 in qualifying for the 2000 cars are already in the feature. The top 6 qualifiers for the midgets. We'll have then 2 heat races in each division with a 40-lap feature for the 2000 cars and a 50-lapper for the midgets. It's a major night in motorsports, so we'll buckle up downstairs and get ready for work, Dave.
All right, guys, thank you very much. Whatever else has happened this month, there is no more exciting time for the race fan than the month of May in Indianapolis, and no more exciting night than the night before the 500. I'm going to head into the arena. We'll take a quick break, fire the engines, and come back with the action. Stay with us. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. Coming up cold on the billboards, right? On this closing billboard, that's pronounced Lotriman. Thanks. Yeah. Saturday Night Thunder is brought to you by Quaker State, the intelligent oil for longer engine life. Go get him, buddy.
Starting in the front row, Lance Norrick in number 3. Outside the front row, number 31 is Rick Costin.
Yes, testing 1, 2, 3, 4. We're getting ready to go racing.
Speed World's presentation of Saturday Night Thunder is brought to you by Quaker State, the intelligent oil for longer engine life. And by Steel, makers of a full line of outdoor power equipment built to handle most any job in steel territory. Indianapolis Raceway Park on the night before the 500. The F2000 cars are on the track, warming the tires, working their way through the pace laps and preparing for the green flag that will kick off this 49th annual celebration of speed here in Circle City. And here with the starting lineup for the first of the qualifying heat races, the Gary and Larry Show.
We could say, Dave, a brand new Indianapolis Raceway Park. We'll explain and show you. The front row, Lance Norrick and Rick Costin. In the second row on the inside, number 40 is Jonathan Clues. Outside is Danny Fawcetta. In the third row, number 26 is Ron Ignatowski and 00 Jim Guthrie. Then it's number 46, Gary Swanander and Dan Selodick. Ninth starting position, number 70 is Steve Hickman and Jeff Beck. And then number 9, Duncan Dayton. 68 is Chris Miles. And rounding out the field, number 15, John Colcott. This is actually the third race in a 10-race national series. In fact, all 3 races, Larry Rice, have been here at Raceway Park. The other 2 behind us on the 2.5-mile road course 2 weeks ago.
Yes, and this is going to be quite a change for these guys to move from that road course that's over there behind us to this oval. Yesterday they had several crashes as they moved in here, as they did last year when they tried to adapt to this oval track.
Now, once again, the format tonight will call for a 40-lap feature. We have actually seeded the fastest 10 qualifiers into the feature already. These are the guys that qualified 11th to the balance of the field. We will transfer the first 9 finishers. They will comprise the inside of each row.
Yes, it's going to be interesting to see how these guys get around here. They're actually running flat out. The cars that are set up very, very well are running flat out through the corners, down the straightaways and in without ever lifting, and we're going to see how well they do that.
They're powered by 4-cylinder Ford engines, top speed about 150 miles an hour. Oh, a crash right at the starting line. 2 cars got together, and the yellow will come out. Well, I don't know if the yellow came out or the green stayed out. But they're very slow through the corner. Obviously, somebody came up to speed faster than the driver directly in front of him, so we'll have a complete restart on that one.
Yes, it looked like they just gained speed a lot quicker than he thought he was going to. Just ran right in under the guy in front of him and just lifted him off the ground. Really didn't look like too bad a crash.
It could have been a very bad crash, however.
Yes, it could. Look right there. He just lifted him up off the ground, but both drivers kept their heads, kept the race car straight. Very key point right there. Neither one of them panicked and jumped on the brakes. Had they done that, they could have collected everybody in behind them, but they didn't.
Steve Hickman in car number 70 right there up underneath the car. And so we'll go to a complete restart with Lance Norrick, the 25-year-old, on the pole. Lance, incidentally, is now tied for 5th in the point standings. And there is a look at Ron Ignatowski, the 52-year-old from Connecticut. And he's going to make a stop right along the inside pit wall and hopefully regain his position inside row 3. These are the drivers that qualified 11th, 13th, 15th, 17th, 19th, the odd number.
They were just a little bit anxious, Gary. They all wanted to get a good start. You saw people back in the 4th and 5th row knowing that they had to jump up there. They're only going to take 9 out of this field. They knew they had to get up front real quick, and they just tried a little too hard, a little too fast, and got themselves in trouble.
Well, Ron gets back in his position now. He's driving actually a B division car, which means the car was built in 1989 or earlier. So those are the older cars that obviously you can buy a little less expensive than, say, a $30,000 new operation.
Because they're not quite as competitive in some people's eyes, they give them a little bit of a break on their entry fees and other things to get them to come and race. And you know, a lot of these guys take those cars and really do well with them.
Yellow remains out. We'll have at least one more lap under yellow. There is the Furl green flag. So one more lap, and Lance Norrick will set the pace. Outside is 36-year-old Rick Costin in number 31. In fact, one of the cars in this race, that is the number 46 car, is the same car that Chris Simmons drove to the USAC East title 1 year ago.
Okay, these car engines. Oh, here we go, Gary.
Yeah, let's take a look at the points, because we don't have a chance but about once a year to see these guys. The top 5 in points after 2 races. There's Anderson leading by 10 points over Gerhardt. Jared Schrader is now 3rd, Jonathan Clues 4th, and Lance Norrick. So once again, as we take a look at the 6 through 10 positions, Hickman, West, Collier, who is the fast qualifier this evening. And once again, the first time on the oval for these guys, and that's quite a transition from the 2.5-mile road course to this very fast oval. As you indicated, if the chassis is right, Larry Rice, they're flat out.
This and the oval at New Hampshire are really the only 2 ovals that they run all year long. And obviously this is the shortest of any oval that they run all year, since New Hampshire is a little over a mile in length. So it takes some adjusting. It seems very tight. These guys are used to running in big, wide open spaces with big sweeping corners.
Well, you can see the strategy in the back of the pack. Dive down low and pass as many guys as you can, coming up through the gears into the first corner. And leading right now is Lance Norrick in that 3 car on the low side. A couple of drivers side by side coming off the corner, headed down the backstretch.
Yeah, it was a good battle going through that first corner.
Rick Costin used the high line through 2 down the backstretch. He leads now as Lance Norrick drops into 2nd position. They'll come single file off the corner. Now I'll move to the inside by car number 40. Jonathan Clues up in the point standings. Tried to look to the inside. Didn't work. He goes back to the high side, and that appears to be the fast groove.
Appears to be the fast groove, just like it is with the midgets and some of the others. This Jonathan Clues, who's running in 3rd position, he won one of the races, ran 2nd in the other one over here on the road course a couple of weeks ago. And he was very, got a lot of high praise from almost everybody who watched him over there last week.
Back there in 4th position is Danny Fawcetta. He is 10th in points. And once again, the first 9 will transfer. So the drivers that could not qualify in the top 10 have a chance to race their way into this 40-lap feature.
It's Danny Fawcetta in 4th place, that green and white car back there in 4th place, right behind Jonathan Clues. He's moved up a little bit, but everybody's kind of got in line now. Nobody seems to want to move down that bottom groove. Everybody wants to stay right up there in that top groove with their left wheels on that line as they go through.
Well, there's a look for the transfer spot. Car number 35 and car number 9. That is Beck in 35. 9 is Duncan Dayton.
Oh.
And look at that move on the low side.
Nice pass, but it looked like there was a little bit of contact. If he didn't contact, he sure scared that guy bad enough that he moved over, didn't he?
Duncan Dayton, 35 years of age, is an accomplished vintage car racer. We go back to the front of the pack. Now, once again, these cars are designed to be very, very even, which puts the emphasis on the cockpit, on the driver. So on a racetrack like this in the oval where you're flat out, it can be very difficult to pass.
It's very difficult, but look at Norrick. He's going the inside. He just can't quite get enough speed to get around, but he's got a nice run on him right there.
Norrick down low makes the pass, and he takes the lead. That drops Costin back to 2nd position. A nice move, a gutsy move on the inside.
A very nice move. It's not nearly, the race cars just don't want to stick as well in that bottom groove as we see all the time in the midget cars. So he did a fine job getting that race car to run all the way around the corner, right on the bottom. Look at this. Jonathan Clues is going to try the same thing, but he can't make it work.
Well, Clues saw exactly what happened a lap earlier with Lance Norrick, and he's still going to try on the low side down the backstretch. He may make it work in turn 3. Gets a little low. Car slides just a bit.
Yes, he got just a little too low right there. It's very, very flat when you get that low getting into 3, and he just couldn't quite make it work. But look back there in 4th position. Fawcetta's really working on Clues. So everybody, like you said, very, very equal.
And Jimmy Guthrie in that 00 car makes a move on the inside, and he's going to take a position. Almost. Oh, he gets a little loose there.
Yeah, it really gets tough. You get down there close to that 2nd white line on the bottom, it gets very flat down that part of the racetrack, and it's awfully hard to get that race car to stick down there, as these guys are finding out.
There's the 31 car of Rick Costin. There's a battle for 7th position. Once again, car number 9 is Duncan Dayton. The track, with the resurfacing out here, just to look at the track, it almost looks like it's wet.
Yeah, well, they have put a sealer all the way around this racetrack, and it's, you know, it looks a lot better. Without the white lines on it, though, the drivers, the first time they came out here and tested, they were kind of lost. They didn't know where to run on the racetrack, so they put the white lines back on so everybody could kind of find the groove.
That white line has always been a gauge going into the corner as to which groove you want to run as we go back up to the front of the pack. And look at that move by Jonathan Clues. He just kind of snapped that steering wheel with the left. That can really upset a chassis.
Well, yeah, he's trying. Of course, like we said, they're running flat out, so you've got to get the race car real loose and get a big run off a guy coming off the corner to gain any speed. The engines basically are about the same horsepower, not a whole lot of difference. So you got to get the race car real free, get a big shot off the corner down the straightaway, and try to beat him into the corner.
Well, the trap speed 107 miles an hour going into turn one, and a speed like that at this racetrack in these cars, that'll get your attention.
That's very fast. You know, the straightaway speed is actually not quite as fast as a midget, but the corner speed is much, much greater. We don't have any way of timing them through the corners per se, but they have to be faster because their lap times are almost the same, and they're running about 10 mile an hour slower down the straightaway, so their corner speeds have to be way up over the midgets.
Well, once again, this is the first of two 15-lap qualifying heat races for the 2000 cars. We'll also have two heat races in the midgets, and then these guys will contest a 40-lap feature, and the annual night before the 500 midget race will have 50 laps. So a whole lot of racing coming your way here on the Thunder from Raceway Park.
Lance Norrick has just kind of checked out on everybody here. He's way out in front as these next four cars are battling for second position.
Yeah, well, right now they're battling for their starting position in the feature because, again, these guys, the top nine, will start in the inside of the rows in rows 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. White flag, 1 lap to go for Lance Norrick, who started from the pole. He was the 11th fastest qualifier this evening, so he started from the pole in this first of two qualifiers, and he lost the lead for a while, made a good, gutsy, daring pass on the inside coming through turn 2. Left Rick Costin really in the dust. Rick right there is battling for second position with Jonathan Clues. And there's a good battle between number 19 and number 00, 19 Fawcetta. 00's Guthrie. The checkered flag is out, and Lance Norrick will take the victory. And Rick Costin will take second. There is a look at Lance Norrick, who is tied for 5th in the point standings after 3 races. And this could go a long way to help his seasonal average tonight. As we'll take a look now at, I believe, the top 5 in this race as we're getting ready to take a break here at Indianapolis Raceway Park as Norrick takes it over Costin, Clues, Fawcetta, and Guthrie. We're coming back. Stay with us. Okay. Only one place to be this weekend. That's Indianapolis for race weekend. And we take a look now at the top 10. Only 9 transfers. Lance Norrick took the victory. Rick Costin was second. Then Jonathan Clues, Danny Fawcetta, and Jim Guthrie. As we take a look at the second 5, there's the top 9 to transfer with Seladick and Dayton, Katowski, Beck, and Hickman. So let's go trackside and visit with our victor.
Hey, does Lance Norick know how to get a date or what? I'm going to have to kind of edge in here and see if I can't get a word with the winner. First of all, Lance, congratulations. That was a great drive.
Thanks a lot. Just glad to get done with it.
I want to ask you, you had a second-place finish on the road course over here, but and you looked fast in practice last night, but the oval maybe is a bit of a transition. How did you like the oval racing, and how did you find the track conditions?
I really love it. We've been running good here for the last 2 days. Just in qualifying, I kind of overcooked it going into one, and kind of got sideways, so it kind of hurt my time a little bit.
Dropped off just a little bit on the start, fell back to second spot, made a great pass up there, pulled the lead, and just took off and left them behind. Was your motocross training the key to success here tonight? This is a long way from the whoops and the ruts.
Oh, it probably helps. I'm able to stick it in there on some guys, get a little closer, because in motocross, you know, a little banging, but I think it helps me out. It helps out my reaction time for sure.
Good job. We'll see you in the feature. That's Lance Norick. He's won the first of our qualifying races. He's surrounded by the IRP ladies. We'll take a quick break here, go to commercial, and come back with a second qualifier for F2000.
What's this? Moore, 81.
If you need.
You got a panel on that?
Yep.
Hey, racing continues tomorrow on ESPN. Don't forget the Formula One from Barcelona, the Spanish Grand Prix, live at 7:50 a.m. Eastern Time. Talk about that Schumacher. He is running away with it this year, and he once again is on the pole for the Spanish Grand Prix. But right now, we have a whole lot more to talk about because we're at Indianapolis Raceway Park with a big doubleheader, the 49th annual, night before the 500. Here is your starting lineup for our second heat race in the 2000 series. Kevin West and Chris Odo on the front row. In the second row, John Hogdell and Matt Connolly. In row 3, inside is Jim Bryant, outside Larry Vatry. In the fourth row on the inside, Michael Fitzgerald, outside is Dale Moore. In the fifth row, hey, look at that name, John Rutherford IV. He hasn't retired, just his dad, and Dale Ballinger. In the sixth row, Mark Peller and John Goss. So once again, the first 9 will transfer. Car number 6, John Rutherford, the 25-year-old son of 3-time Indy 500 champion Johnny Rutherford, and John just last weekend announced his retirement, but he said, hey, my kid's still running, and if he is as bad as Mario Andretti, he's a nervous wreck watching his kid race.
I was talking to John down the pit area earlier, and he's a little disappointed. They didn't qualify quite as well as they wanted to, but he said, hey, he says, he's getting started. He came out here. It's kind of a rental ride for him. You know, they bought this thing, tried to get going for a couple of weeks, and he just wants to kind of prove himself. You know, it's tough. It's tough on the second generation drivers, a lot tougher than most people think because there's a lot expected of him.
It's tough on you tonight because your son Robbie is running a sprint car this evening, and Dad has to be here with Gary. He can't be with his kid.
Well, it's tough on all fathers, I think. It doesn't matter what they're running. It's tough to watch them out there.
Well, Kevin West, the 29-year-old who was fourth in the race here last year, brings them down off the corner. The green flag is flying. 15 laps. The first 4 will transfer. Chris Odo, the 17-year-old high school junior, runs off the high side. He is in second position right now. Kid started racing when he was 8 years old in quarter midgets. He's only a junior in high school. That's pretty impressive.
He looks pretty good right there. He battled him all the way into the first corner, but he thought he better just let him go. When he got around about halfway through, they started to put a little squeeze on him. He backed out and let West go.
Hoggle runs in the third position, car 53. He's a former IMSA GTU racer from the 80s, 43 years of age. So we look back at car number 25 and 74. Larry Battery's in 25.
Yes, and they tried to make a move down at the bottom. Couldn't quite make it come, though.
Jim Bryant is in the 74 car. He's a 93 SCCA Southern Pacific Divisional Champion. So these guys kind of bounce around from one division to another, but obviously this is the place to be tonight because they're on national television.
Yeah, they obviously, every time you get on a race like this, on a racetrack like this, where you're running this fast and in front of this many people, you want to do well. But you know, they're working real hard right now.
Bryant sticks his nose up right underneath Vatry's car, trying to maybe get a run off the corner. They come down into turn 1, and that's the key right now, is to set the car up, as you say, to be loose, a little loose coming off, free the car up to get a good run off the corner.
And Bryant's just trying to find a way around. You know, there's really only one fast groove in this racetrack, and you try to do something in order to get around. But look at that lead that he has over those guys back there running.
Yeah, almost a half lap between first and fourth right now is Kevin West, who is your 12th fast qualifier this evening. These are the guys that qualified 12th, 14th, 16th, 18th, the even numbers on through the field. And they will start in the outside of the rows in rows 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Another good battle for fourth. 3 cars involved in this battle for fourth as they come off the corner. Car number 28 is Matt Connolly, a 28-year-old. And Matt stays on the high side, and Vatry looked to the low side but couldn't make the pass coming off the corner. Now, well, you have to be consistent in any kind of racing. If you come off the corner low, stay low.
Well, they're wandering around a little bit right now. I think some of these guys are having a little trouble. These are all spec tires. The Hoosier tires, everybody has to use the same thing. And I think they're having just a little bit of trouble running that low line and keeping the race car straight.
Well, to underscore that spec tire situation, they're only allowed so many tires per race weekend to keep the cost down.
They're coming up on that lap car, and they really, everybody dived for the same spot. They were lucky they didn't run into each other on that move.
Yeah, they're only allowed 8 tires per race weekend for qualifying and for the race. That helps to keep the overall cost down.
Of course, these are all 2,000cc Ford engines, all pretty much spec type engines. They're built by different people, but all make about 150 horsepower.
Well, only half the race complete, so we've got a competitive heat race, and of course these guys are right now vying for a position and a starting spot in the 40-lap main event. As the shadows start to fall over the racetrack,
got to spin down
in turn 3, entering turn 3 as the track goes under yellow. Car number 37.
Mark Peller. Mark Peller is the, I think he's the aerospace engineer, the guy who works on the space shuttles. Wonder if that's as thrilling as working on a space shuttle, riding that thing down through the dirt down
I think
there.
it'd be more thrilling to ride the space shuttle, not just to work on it. But he looped it down in turn 3 as the yellow continues to fly. 7 laps complete. This will be a 15-lapper. So that will, I think we had this on replay here, Larry.
He's way down on the flat. He was trying to make a 3-wide way down on the flat part of the racetrack, and there just wasn't any way to make it stick down there. He did a nice job just doing a half spin, driving it down through the dirt, and then it did a reverse spin once it got down the dirt. And stopped, and he turns on the,
Well, I
on the
think
throttle.
you realize that these guys are more acclimated to road courses where you drive in, clip the apex, and go on through the corner. That's not the situation here. You don't drive into the corner and dive down low. You stay up on the banking.
Well, he made it just like a road course. He turned it left, slid into the dirt, and then stood on the gas. That's just like you do it on a road course, right?
Yeah, but you go backwards in a hurry that way, Rice. All right, well, that closes down the gap that Kevin West had been able to build up for himself. And that puts Chris Odo right behind your leader. So we'll keep an eye on this 17-year-old high school junior from Fallbrook, California, the youngest driver in the field. He'll have a shot to see what he can do on the restart. We'll have at least one more lap under green. The banking here is about 13 degrees, so these guys are really not acclimated to that kind of banking on a racetrack.
Right, and the banking is higher at the top of the racetrack than it is at the bottom of the racetrack. The banking gets less as you go down per lane. So clear down at the bottom, it's almost flat clear down on the inside of the racetrack.
Well, we take a look now at the top runners. Chris Odo goes in second. That's the 17-year-old. There is John Hogdell in third position in the pink and white and somewhat, purple car. Back there in fourth position is Matt Connolly in car number 28. And we pan back to the fifth position. Fifth spot is the 25 car of Larry Vatry. He's been involved in a good battle with the 74 of Jim Bryant. And there's a look at Jim Bryant. He's in sixth position right now. 9 will transfer, and we're coming down for the restart. This will be the start of lap number 8. See what this 17-year-old can do on the restart. Well, he just about the same gap he had just before the start.
Yeah, I think he's probably quite content to run in second place. Just get some experience. He's a young man. He doesn't need to go out there and pass guys and take big chances. What he does need to do is make the feature event and run 40 laps on this little oval. It's different than anything else they're going to do all year long, and I think the drivers will tell you that it's important just to run laps and get the experience on this type of racetrack.
There are some drivers that will tell their kid in a race, don't pass anybody. Just go out there and get some laps in.
Well, you know, you don't want to hold them back. I mean, nobody wants purposely to make their driver or their son or whoever not go fast. But at the same time, they don't want them to take any unnecessary chances. And I think that's what Oda's doing right now. He's running in second and just a few car lengths back.
Good look at the battle right there with Michael Fitzgerald in the blue and white number 7 car. Pulls right up behind Jimmy Bryant's number 74. Does that ring a bell? Did they say the word name Jimmy Bryant?
Yeah, Bryant has fallen back just a little bit, though. He was working pretty hard right up there a while ago, but he's fallen back a few car lengths behind Bert.
10 laps complete, 5 laps to go. They'll go back to the leader, and once again, Kevin West continues to dominate this race. He led from the pole position after a good tussle going into the corner with Chris Odo. Built up a sizable lead before that yellow, and looks like he's able to build it up one more time.
Yeah, he and Odo have built up about a half a straightaway lead over the rest of the people.
John Rutherford IV, the 25-year-old son of JR, Lone Star JR, in the 6 car there, the white and black car. That is number 37 right behind him. That's Mark Peller, who slid off the course earlier.
Right now, he's having a little bit of trouble getting into the corner. As you watch Peller following him right down into the corner, he gets off the throttle just a little bit. He's now running in 9th position. That is the transfer spot. Look at Peller. Peller really pulls up on him getting into the corner. But he seems like Rutherford gets off the corner and down the straightaway just a little bit better.
Once again, this is the battle for 9th position. Only 9 drivers transfer. And although we'll never have a Rutherford in the 500 again, we'd certainly like to have Rutherford in this race. But JR slips just a bit there, and Peller slides up front. It's a slide job in a rear engine car.
Well, I guess that had to be a little nerve-wracking for Rutherford as he just pulled right up in front of him coming off the corner.
Oh, I don't think I've seen a slide job quite like that in one of these race cars.
Well, he really had a lot more speed into the corner. John told me earlier that the thing just wasn't getting into the corner the way he wanted. It just wasn't handling the way he wanted, and that was obvious by the way he was entering into 3 down there.
White flag, 1 lap to go for car number 87, Kevin West. And he is dominated from the opening green flag, so he'll find himself starting outside the 6th row in the 12th starting position, since the fastest 10 drivers will start straight up in this 40-lap main event. So he'll come down, take the checkered flag, and he advances now. Chris Odo, the 17-year-old in car 23, will take 2nd. He would start outside of row 7, so these guys will start in the outside rows. And there's a good look at Kevin West, who wins the last chance race, or the qualifying heat race number 2. So we have a doubleheader coming your way from the 49th running of the night before the 500 from Indianapolis Raceway Park. That's good. I was able to use some of that stuff.
I'm sorry you caught me a bad time again. I got to interview this guy, but just hang with me. We'll catch up.
I will.
Well, Bliss of
course. I wanted to tell you for a long time.
Did we, are we up and running? He didn't come to victory lane again, so we got the same situation.
Runyon in the 7R car has that new
V8. Tolsman.
Tolsman has moved here to Indianapolis.
Okay, he's coming to here.
So we'll go Bliss 1, Runyon 2, Tolsma 3. Okay. Beckley's in from near Denver.
On his way.
Kenya's
Just
a 4-time
moment. No, I'm not. I'm in victory circle, but
Okay. Welcome back to Raceway Park. We've concluded the second qualifying race for the 2000 cars. We take a look at the top 10. Kevin West led every lap. The 17-year-old Chris Odo went second. John Hogdell was third, Larry Vatry fourth, and Jim Bryant rounding out the top 5. In the second 5, Fitzgerald, Connolly, Moore, and Peller with a late pass of Rutherford transfers. John Rutherford becomes an alternate. Let's go trackside now and Dave Despain.
Here with Kevin West, the race winner, and the winner handily. You made that look pretty easy. Was it easy?
Well, it really wasn't too easy. We really didn't expect to be there for that event. We would like to have been in the feature right off the get-go. Things just haven't been going right this weekend. I guess it continues because they took the 3 IRP girls away from us just before we went on television. So I don't know. I guess luck just isn't with us this weekend, but hopefully it'll start to come back in the main and maybe we can pick up a few spots. And the car's handling real well. The crew's got the car working real good all over the track. Maybe that was some of the problems. We just concentrated a little too much on the race setup and not enough on qualifying speed, and hopefully we'll be there at the end.
I want to ask you about that because you finished 4th here last year, if memory serves, and I was surprised too to not see you, in the pre-qualified drivers. You're going to have a lot of people to pass out here tonight. Is that doable from back there in the 10th or 11th starting spot?
Well, I think it's doable. I think we're going to have a little bit of luck and a little bit of skill involved, hopefully. It's a real tough field, and we were real surprised not to make it. We just got out into qualifying, and we ran a lot faster all weekend long, and we just can't put it together. We looked at the information, and things just didn't look right, but we're not done yet. We still got a feature to go, and there's a lot of laps and not too many cars to pass. Hopefully we can get back up in the top 3 and see what we can do at this event.
Okay, man, don't be worried about that trio of lovely ladies. Go get that car working, and we'll see you in the main event. Kevin has won the second of our qualifying races, and we'll be back with the midgets here at IRP on the night before the 500.
The thunder continues from Indianapolis Raceway Park, one of 2 features in the 49th annual running of the night before the 500. These are the USAC Formula 2000s. We've reduced the feature from 40 laps now, we're told, to 30 laps. And you saw the first row, the second row, Anthony Lazzaro and Alan May. In the third row, Aaron Shue and TJ Durst. Row 4 will have David Burkett and Mike Anderson. In row 5, Jarrett Schrader and Bob Lehman. In the 6th row, inside Lance Norick and Kevin West, the 2 winners of our qualifiers, Rick Costin and Chris Odo. In the 8th row, Jonathan Clues and John Hogel. As we take a look now at the rest of the field, we're about to turn them loose and go green for 30 laps here in the 2000 series. Once again, Clay Collier, a 19-year-old from Texas, won this event 1 year ago. In fact, he was the fast qualifier this afternoon, and no green. That was a lousy start.
Well, it looked like Collier got a little bit anxious. Uh-oh, there's a crash back there in the back. Guys running up. Wasn't a crash, just a lot of tire smoke because somebody climbed on the brakes very hard. It's hard to see. You're very low slung down there, and when the green light doesn't go on and you're clear back in the middle of 3 and 4, it's very hard to know that till you get clear out on the straightaway. So, but Collier just got on this. We get a chance to look at this replay. Oops, this is going to be where the throttle or somebody gets on the brakes back there in the back. Everybody else is slowing up. He climbs on the brakes, turns her to the right just to miss everybody, and does a nice job of that. But Collier just got a little bit anxious. Let's see if he does better this time.
Well, as we regroup, as they go down into, we take a look at Michael Fitzgerald in the blue and white number 7 star entry, and the green flag flies. This time a much better start. And the car number 18 of Clay Collier out of Saxe, Texas. The 19-year-old, he's 8th in points right now after 2 races. He won this event 1 year ago, safely through 1 into 2. They start to single file off the corner, head down the back stretch.
Katz on the outside of that front row did not get a very good start. He fell way back to 4th position right on the initial start, and just looked like the thing just wouldn't take off the start. And maybe that's one reason Collier pulled him so bad the first time around.
Well, Anthony Lazaro out of Atlanta, Georgia, 30-year-old, is now up in 2nd position. He started inside the 2nd row in 3rd. Spin in turn 2, a car off the track, car number 31. That is Rick Costin. Rick spun to the infield, but the green stays out. He engages the clutch down to 1st gear and is back on the racetrack.
That's one nice thing to have about having the clutches, the starters, and all the gear. You just put it back in gear and get going again. And look at Lazaro. He's really putting some pressure on. Boy, that is a little bit different look we're getting from the in-car camera.
That is the 21 car that we were riding with there for just a moment, David Burkett. He's a rookie in competition. Oh, look at this. Shades of Winchester, the car bottoming out coming off the 2nd corner. We saw the sparks come off of Clay Collier's yellow and blue number 18 again going into turn 3.
Obviously, he has that race car very, very low to the ground, because I don't think I've seen anybody at this particular racetrack, whether it be a Formula 2000 car or a midget, who's ever bottomed out quite that badly here before.
Car number 99 is Alan May. Boy, that's an easy car to spot. Look at that iridescent red. That's a pretty race car. 12th, 13th, and 14th. Car 23, car number 19.
That's Fossetta in the 19 car. He's trying pretty hard to get around. He can't quite pull it off.
Chris Odo is the young 17-year-old in that bluish green and white number 23.
Bluish green and white one, I think that's Fossetta in the 19.
That's right, that's right.
The 23 car is the red and white one right in front of him.
Who said I wasn't colorblind?
Bob Lehman in the 71 car is black car right in front of him that Odo's working on.
Yeah, Odo's in that red and white car, the 17-year-old, the high school junior, and he makes a look on the inside, stays on the inside, coming down the front straightaway, then tucks up behind him going into turn 1.
As Odo's doing a pretty nice job. Ooh, look at this. We're going through the traffic. Lap cars already as Collier and Lazaro moving around the lap cars.
7 laps now complete. Once again, they have reduced this 40-lap feature to 30 laps, and look how low slung Collier's car is. Continues to spark, coming off at 2, and he'll spark again up in 3 and 4. And this track is very smooth.
As I said before, I don't think I've ever seen anybody bottom out like he is. That thing must really be on the bottom. Oops, look there. He decided he was going to try to go around on the outside. At the last minute, he decided the inside was the way to go, and he changed lines very quickly. It's a good thing Lazaro wasn't down there.
Lazaro continues to ride in 2nd with about, 4 car lengths, 3 car lengths between 1st and 2nd.
It's one of the nice things about the rear engine cars, the little formula cars. They do have rear view mirrors, so you do know where that guy is behind you. You got a little better chance of missing him when you make a move like that.
Lazaro was the Rookie of the Year in the Olds Pro Series last year. He's 30 years of age, out of Atlanta, Georgia. He qualified 3rd quick this evening, but right now he is 2nd. The fast qualifier is your leader, Clay Collier, 19-year-old out of Texas.
Here's the in-car shot again. Again, a very much different look than what we see on a midget, because there's no roll cage, and you're just looking at front wheels in front of the guy. That's all you can see.
Well, actually, these cars are so low, your sight line is down between your front wheels.
Exactly. And that's basically what the driver's seeing. He's not seeing much more than you see in that camera shot.
Once again, they have cleared the traffic. They have some clean racetrack out in front of them right now, but again, after Lazaro tucks in right on the heels. That still has to be disconcerting. We've talked about that at Winchester, where everybody is sparking, bottoming out. That has to be disconcerting for the guy who's running 2nd right now.
Well, it probably is just a little bit. And you notice that Lazaro, because he's running a lower line. It looks like Collier runs above that white line, and Lazaro runs about halfway off the white line. He really runs about a half car width lower all the way through the corner than Collier does.
Oh, look at that move as they go by a slower car. That's the 7 car. That is Michael Fitzgerald. And boy, he really jerked that steering wheel to upset that chassis, but the chassis stayed under him.
That's right. Lazaro did a nice job. He waited and going around him on the outside a little bit later instead of trying to follow him down on the inside.
This has been a very clean race with some very tight competition. We've got several cars running in different bunches out there, different packs. And of course, you can take a look down the backstretch now. We ride along with Burkett in car number 21, a rookie in USAC competition. He's an accomplished SCCA amateur racer. And you had a ride with him. Oh, man, look at this.
What a move that was. He went from the top groove to the bottom groove and back to the top groove again, all in one corner. All these guys
three wide off the second corner as you ride with Burkett on the high side.
Man, oh man, that's got to be as exciting sitting in the cockpit as it is from up here when you're running 3 wide through corners like they have here at Raceway Park.
That's the time when you want to be up here.
That's exactly right.
And your leaders continue to go through traffic, and we ride with Burkett again off the second corner. He heads down. Actually going into 3, coming off of 4 now.
Collier and Lazaro are the last 2 cars in this group. 2 cars on the inside now trying to get around all these cars. Those are all cars that they're trying to lap, and it's going to be the guy who gets through this lap traffic the best is going to come out on top at the end of this race, it looks like, because it's very, very heavy traffic.
Well, right now it's a case of making some good decisions in traffic.
Well, that's exactly
or guessing right.
Well, I was going to say, you have to outguess, and look at this. Which one of those guys is going to run the fastest? That's what they're trying to figure out right now. Is the guy on the outside going to run fast?
Look at Lazaro. He's going to try the middle line on the high side. Goes all the way to the wall. He may make the pass. Yes. He makes the pass in traffic and boxes Collier in behind a slower car.
See, the driver in second place in that position usually has the advantage. He goes where the first driver doesn't go and hopes it's the right decision. In that case, he went high, Collier went low, and Collier got boxed in behind the car, and it really worked out well for Lazaro and really lousy for Collier.
He's lost some ground right there. You can see a gap develop between first and second because of the traffic. Now about 4 or 5 car lengths back. Now Collier starts to close back in. And this will be perhaps the deciding factor in this entire race, this traffic right now.
Once again,
spin right there. A car into the wall, and they all safely go by on the low side. You can see that one develop as the rear broke loose, did the spin to the wall.
Just as the leaders were passing him, they just did a slow spin into the wall.
Car number 51 is Dan Seladick. Seladick, a rookie in USAC Formula 2000 competition, and you can see he just simply lost the rear end and backed into the fence.
Yeah, the one thing about these rear engine cars is that once they start to go, we're going to take a look at a replay right here. He's very high on the racetrack, trying to give these other guys a little room, and once he gets up about 3 feet from the wall, the back end just got loose. He spun around, he got on the brakes, but he went up, hit it with the left rear, tore the left rear off, and that was it.
But he was able to keep the car on the high side and keep it from coming back down the banking in front of the other drivers.
Right, and basically he does that by just staying on the brakes all the time and not letting it go anywhere.
So we are under yellow. We have completed some 19, make that 18 laps of a 30-lapper here at Raceway Park.
Down here has number 5 as Tony Marks, and the scoreboard show it. Okay.
Well, I tell you what, you hold your breath out there in these things.
Every piece of it.
Is that Anthony Lazaro that's leading?
Yeah.
It is Anthony Lazaro that's leading.
And he won 2 of the Hooters Cup series. It's a regional series for these things.
Who's this they're going by here in this, looks like the Marlboro color scheme?
Everything I've got says Lazaro's 57. I just want to make sure we get the right guy. Oh, I see it on his card. Never mind.
I can't see what number that is. Now maybe we can get it. Who's doing this? Who was that crashed? Who crashed? Well, we can see now, we're back live at Raceway Park. We can see that there is some emergency attention being paid over there in the second corner.
Yeah, he banged up his knee, it looked like, as he got off of the wall. He was kind of hopping around. It looked like his right leg took a little bang to the knee, and so he's going to get inside the ambulance. They're going to have a look at it. Nothing too serious, but I'm sure it did not feel very good at all.
We go back now on tape and look at this pass for the lead in heavy traffic, as your leader is the 18 car, the yellow and blue car of Clay Collier. Second place is the red, white, and blue number 5 of Lazaro, and look at the pass in traffic.
Collier made a move to the bottom. He thought he was going to go under both of those cars, and when he tried to move back to the top, Lazaro already was up there. He couldn't move to the top. He was stuck behind that double zero car down there and just could not get back. And by the time he moved up, Lazaro was already around him and gone.
They're trying to lap Jim Guthrie in the double zero car, and Guthrie stayed down, blocking Collier. Lazaro takes the high side.
You got to give Lazaro a lot of credit. He moved right up on the outside of him very, very quickly and didn't give him a chance to move to the outside of Guthrie.
Well, this is a live shot now as they line up behind the pace car. 18 laps are completed. This will be a 30-lap feature.
Yeah, and I think the car in third place is Alan May. So do we have the first 5 run down again so we can tell who's up there besides those first 2 cars of Collier and Lazaro?
You have to be young to drive in this division because you have to hold your breath a long time.
Yeah, you do sometimes because they're look at these guys wiggling around. They're knocking the marbles off. They're not trying to warm the tires up. They're knocking off the marbles so when the race restarts, they will they'll have clean tires.
All right, we should get the furled flag this next time around. The pace car stays out. The lights remain on, so we'll have at least 1 lap, maybe 2 laps to go. I tell you what, a great racing weekend, and we have the live Indy 500 review coming up 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Monday. Speedweek live Indy 500. Bob Jenkins, and of course we'll have the winner of tomorrow's 78th running of the Indy 500. And there's a look at Bill Carey. He has the furled flag. And 1 more lap, we will turn them loose to complete the final 11 laps of this event. Make the final 12 laps. 18 laps complete. I hope my math teacher from high school is not listening this evening, or else I couldn't subtract 18 from 30 and come up with 12. Well, you can see the amber flashing lights are still on. They'll go off momentarily, as we should turn them loose. And there is a good look at your leader. That is Anthony Lazaro out of Atlanta, Georgia, 30-year-old.
He brought him around for a very slow start. He got on the brakes. He held him down to a very, very slow start. Started off, but he didn't fool Collier. Collier stuck right with him. He didn't get any advantage, but he didn't pull away from him. That's what he really wanted to do, was get a 2 or 3 car length lead going into turn 1.
And Alan May rides in 3rd position. You can see that iridescent orange number 99. He finished 2nd and 3rd in his USAC West debut last year.
Alan May has hung on to 3rd. We haven't talked too much about him. He's hung on to 3rd and pretty close to those top 2 guys all night long, but he hasn't really been up there quite close enough to give him a real strong challenge. That's a beautiful race car. It looks like the old STP orange that used to run all over the speedway. Nice looking race car, and he's doing a nice job.
Andy Granatelli had that paint job, didn't he, on some of his cars? Well, some good battling back in the pack.
Oh, look at the car on the bottom. He's really wiggling around as he tries to make it 3 wide. Couldn't quite do it, and he's still down there, still wiggling around a little bit.
Well, 3 cars, Lance Norick, who won the first of our 2 qualifiers this evening. Heavy traffic again.
Boy, they are moving around.
Keep in mind, these guys are running virtually flat out all the way around this 13-degree banking.
Yeah, Dershon, that 94 car's moving up and down the racetrack, trying to find a way around, but he in that green number 94, but he just can't quite do it.
21 laps now complete, 9 more laps to go. They head down the backstretch. There is the 66 car.
The 94 car of Dersh is the car that was, oops, look at this on the outside.
Oh, and he ducks to the inside. Just turned the steering wheel, tried to dart to the inside, but couldn't make it stick down there.
That was Aaron Shue trying to make that move on the outside in that 66 car. Aaron Shue He's going to move back to the outside, and then he's going to try on the inside. Nope, no place to go. Again, though, flat to the floor, throttle all the way down, trying to make those kind of moves. Very, very tough to do.
Once again, we ride with David Burkett down the front stretch, up close to the wall, dives into the 13-degree banking in turn 1, now off the corner, and they head down the back stretch as we take a lap with David Burkett.
Burkett running right behind Dersh. He tries to get to the inside. You can see he didn't want to lift. He wanted to get out of that, try to get down below him. Couldn't quite do it, though. Has to move back up behind him.
Now we go back to the leaders, and it looks like Collier. No, the leader is in heavy traffic. There's Collier. Collier's still running second at blue and yellow, number 18. But your leader is the red, white, and blue, number 5 on the inside. That's Lazaro. And now there is Collier tucking up behind him in that blue and yellow and white number 18. Still heavy traffic.
All three of the cars running the bottom. That's Lazaro, Collier right behind him, and then May right behind him. All three running the bottom, trying to get around that lap traffic. Lazaro made it through first, and it's going to be up to the other two now to get through and try to catch him.
Well, as you can see, only 4 laps to go, so the laps wind down, and Lazaro looks like he may be in the best position to pick up a victory here in this 30-lap feature.
Yeah, Lazaro's done a nice job. He won this race in traffic. He was second best until they got to traffic. He caught Collier in that traffic that one time, and since then he's been a master at getting around these cars when things get tight.
Once he gets by these 2 cars, he will have some open racetrack, and now he has the open racetrack, but a yellow. We have a yellow out. We have a problem with car number 3. That is Lance Norrick. Lance Norrick has brought out the yellow, but he continues on around the racetrack, so I'm not sure what exactly happened, but the USAC officials picked up something, and they call Lance Norrick's number 3. The yellow, though, bunches them up, which really means there's clear racetrack in front of your leader for the last 3 laps.
Yeah, and it's a big advantage for Lazaro, bad break for Collier, because obviously he needed the traffic to try to get some help to get back around him. I don't know whether Lazaro is going to be able to be beaten in an open racetrack.
Well, you saw a good shot of Lance as he came down the front stretch in that black and white number 3, and he motioned something to the flag stand, so apparently there was a problem out there. I don't know if he spun or got into a slide, but he did bring out the yellows. We take a look at the top 5 now. 26 of 30 laps now complete. Lazaro continues to lead over Collier, May, West, and Dersh. So we've seen Dersh in that number 5 position, car number 94. And in the 6th position then would be the camera car. That is David Burkett. So we'll have a time now to take a break before we run the last 4 laps of this 30-lap event live from Indianapolis Raceway Park.
Left front wing is broken.
What happened? Oh.
Who's in that 91 car, the midget down there?
91 midget?
Yeah, it's that. I didn't know who that was the last time out there.
91 or 71?
Right there, 91.
I didn't see a 91.
Red and black car right there.
Forward.
Open the door.
Hurst, Mike Hurst.
Mike Hurst.
Oh, yeah, with a black tail.
Yeah.
You want one-hand push-ups? Got it.
Ooh. Are we back on?
We are back just under green now with 3 laps remaining. Your leader once again, Lazaro, in that red and white number 5.
And Collier right behind him doesn't seem to be able to get closer than about 2 or 3 car lengths. He's moved all over the racetrack. He's moved up, he's moved down, but he just can't seem to gain on Lazaro.
2 laps to go. 2 laps to go now, about a lap and a half. We go back to a shot of the cars coming through the second corner.
And look at Lazaro. He's now opened up about a 5 or 6 car length lead on the white flag as he comes down this time. It looks like it's going to take something going very drastically wrong for him to lose this race.
He can hear everything in that race car right now. That race car is talking to him, and he doesn't like what he's hearing.
That's right. You know, especially when you got a little lead and you can see the guy behind you and he's not gaining, you wonder, man, oh man, I just got to make one more corner. Can it do it?
Well, here he comes. He comes off the corner and he starts third, finishes first. A big clenched fist. Exuberance from the cockpit of car number 5. Anthony Lazaro from Atlanta, Georgia, 30-year-old, takes the victory here over 30 laps at Indianapolis Raceway Park as the checkered flag continues to fly over the rest of the field. Clay Collier, the defending race winner, comes in second position, but once again, it was lap traffic that made the difference.
It certainly was. Lazaro did a nice job. He really only had one chance, and he took advantage of that one chance when Collier got trapped and went ahead and won the race because of one mighty nice move.
So there's a look as he holds up the number 1 finger. He's headed to victory lane, and we're headed to a commercial break, then back with more, an interview, and more racing with the USAC Midgets. Hot diggity. Schilling, we got to talk about Schilling coming back. Thanks for your help.
Yeah, thanks a lot. We appreciate it.
Wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be.
No, it wasn't, really, was it? That's because you did all the work.
Gee, I noticed that, right?
Did you notice that?
Well, Gary, no, that's not like a stock car steering. He's not turning the wheel that much. No dingling. I'm talking about the position of the steering wheel.
I didn't know what you were talking about.
I'm going like this.
I blew that.
Like this.
I blew that one. I make a mistake.
No, Rice not allowed to. Who's going to talk about this lift coming from the speedway?
We know? Are we going up?
If you want to. Huh? Only if you want to.
It's your call. I don't care.
Yeah, we're on board, and they say it's up to us whether we want to go up.
Yeah, we'll go up.
You do want to go up?
Yeah, if you want.
Billy, yeah, we do want to go up. Get something straight. No, I'm this one. Yeah! 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 All right! Yeah!
You go by Anthony or Tony?
Anthony.
Hello up there. I don't know if you can fully appreciate what's happening from this shot, but we are now about 6 or 8 feet in the air. Anthony Lazaro, we're in pretty nice ground here. I don't know if you realize it, but this is the old Victory Lane from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The last guy to take this ride was Emerson Fittipaldi. Congratulations on a great performance.
Hey, I definitely appreciate it. What an honor it is to be here at IRP. Tell you what, I'd like to dedicate this race to Lyle Hughes. It's a good friend of mine. My car owner's father is here tonight, and he's 80 years old. And also I'd like to thank Northgate Computers, Precision Auto Centers, and Hoosier Tires, and all the people that make this thing happen.
Oh, I just shoved this in your face. This is the card on which his entire resume can be read, but check this out. It's quite a resume. He's already won 2 races in these cars this year, the Hooters Cup cars. This is your first USAC race, I understand. 3 World Karting Championships, 5 National Karting Championships, past winner of the Formula Ford National Championship, and Rookie of the Year in the Olds Pro Series. You're pretty good at this stuff.
I'll tell you what, it definitely helps to get a good start in go-karts. You know, it's the best training ground available. Once I made the step to cars, it was no problem at all. I mean, fortunately, we have people like Ford Motorsports, you know, helping sponsor the series here. Like I said, Hoosier Race Tires, Northgate Computers, all these people make it possible for me to be here tonight.
What I want to ask you about all this in your resume obviously gave you a lot of great experience in traffic. That was the key to getting around Clay Collier, the defending champion in this race. How'd you pull it off?
Well, I tell you what, I've run 2 3/8 mile tracks already. This is my first 5/8 mile. To me, it's like a super speedway. So everything happened a lot faster. You got to look a lot further down the road. And, you know, staying out of trouble is the main thing. It's tough out there. It really is tough. Clay drove a great race. We've raced together already a couple of times this year and look forward to some more.
You did a great job. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Anthony Lazzaro comes home the winner in our F2000 battle here tonight and takes home the big trophy.